He said, I'm sick, but I'm going to try and join.
All right,
Poor
try
guy.
to. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
That's
He
delayed.
didn't look well. He will. I have it set for invitation only for the Zoom.
Okay.
So people, it's public meeting. So if they really wish to come and sit, they can. But
Counselor Williams was interested in coming down. She expressed last night that she wanted to be here and she was
Sure.
wondering if they were open meetings. I said, absolutely, come on down. So she might
sure,
join.
yeah, that's it. Everyone asks if we have these. This must go way back
Yeah.
to some ancient era when before this council.
Ancient
When people
era.
seem to have secret meetings. I don't know.
I
Executive
wonder who
sessions.
that would have been.
Outside of the library to make big decisions that shouldn't be secret.
The
Yeah.
Jeez. Should I wait? I should wait until Counselor Rich joins.
let's just see if he,
Yeah.
you can start anytime. I really don't anticipate having a long meeting. I'm just gonna ask a very simple question.
Okay.
No.
That takes care
Sorry.
of that.
That takes care of this.
Oh, it's time
Right,
to
I guess
get
I'll bring this thing to order. I am not bringing the order. I'm not a judge. All right, I'm calling
You
to
do whatever you
order the Human Resources Committee meeting.
Sorry.
Am I supposed to say HR Personnel Finance
Sure.
or whatever it is?
He's on. You just have to admit him.
Oh, good.
He made it.
Made it.
Yay.
Hello, Counselor Rich. Thank you for joining.
Can you hear us?
He's connecting to audio.
Oh, he's okay.
There he is. Nice. He's
He's
Okay.
with us.
Okie dokie.
Zoom is like seance.
there. He is.
Hello. Welcome.
Hello.
How are you feeling today?
A little bit better.
Okay, good.
Still crummy, but it's all good.
Sounds like it's very nasal congesty.
Yeah, it's mostly all just upper respiratory stuff.
Oh, so
Oh,
sorry.
joy.
Darn kids. Send them to school and they come back.
They have to share.
Yeah.
I don't like
Sharing.
it.
That's right. We teach them since kindergarten to share.
Yeah.
I didn't mean that.
All right, so we've got two things on the agenda. Thank you, Steve, for putting together an agenda.
You're welcome.
I have some other
Here's
things
Counselor
that,
Williams.
yay, and here's Counselor Williams. She's joining us. No, you're fine. It's
Oh,
great that you're
great.
here.
More the merrier.
Yeah. Counselor Rich, last night, Counselor Williams asked if these meetings were open to the public, and I said, absolutely. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Let's go.
fantastic that,
Yeah. The only thing I do with personnel finance is just restrict the Zoom.
Right.
yeah.
Otherwise, folks are more than welcome to come and sit.
Oh, just come up to the table. You're
You can
fine.
sit wherever.
You can sit with
It's
us.
fine, you're in crowd. All right, so we've called to order old business. Let's start with that since that's next on the agenda. So 2.1 utility worker update. Take it away,
So,
Steve.
actually, the two items of the agenda and actually everything kind of go together.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
So I did put out a utility worker and really did not receive any quality. I mean, we're receiving folks that are great groundskeepers,
Yeah.
okay, but we're such a small town, and that's really the gist of the conversation this evening is we're such a small town that we depend on the folks that we do have to really kind of do everything. And that's, if you can find the folks, that's great,
Sure.
because you
but-
know, it's a bonus all the way around.
Yeah.
right.
Otherwise, you have to do what every other city does and start adding people to fill in the different slots and the different
Right.
skill sets that you require. That's
Yeah.
why most cities, like Chuck's operation Harrisburg has 10 people on public works. And
Right.
when he first came here, he said that you would need a minimum of 3. And that's a superintendent that has had almost 30 years of experience.
Right.
And he's right.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
right. Just to give an example, last week for 2 weeks, Mark was on
Mhm.
leave. He's our primary operator, but your city administrator can fill in for that
Yeah.
because your city administrator is more than qualified to do it. On top of everything else.
Right.
So next week, okay,
Dawn.
Dawn is gone. So who's going to fill in for Don? Well, that's your city administrator again. Mark can't do that.
Right.
He has no expertise and we would not expect him to.
And we need him elsewhere.
And so, and also, I'll be backing him up on Public Works. So with 3 FTE, the city is really, it's a liability to the city. If one of my reasons for saying it's time to retire was, it's been time to retire 6 years ago. I did retire 6
Yeah,
years
you
ago.
came out of retirement.
I came out of retirement.
Yep.
And it's not that I'm willing or wanting to go into retirement today, tomorrow, or even next year. It's just that for this, I came here to help the city.
Yeah.
And to help the city, we need to start transitioning to what I just talked to. How do we provide the backup for
Yeah.
everybody? How do we ensure that people can go on vacation and not feel like they have to stay here or something's compromised or take their cell phones with them,
Right.
when they're on the coast? I
Right.
mean, we have to do that because sometimes we called Mark back when we had the pipe break
We did, yeah.
and the mayor was out in the street, and
Yeah.
I had Jenny and
Okay.
Jonah by phone as I'm racing down to Monroe, trying to, they didn't know what they were doing, but
Yeah.
they certainly attempted to help as much as they can. Mark was on the phone. He picked up his rig, left his kids and his family on the coast,
Yeah.
and took his entire trailer and everything back to Monroe. And that's the kind
Yeah.
of thing. So yes, those are the courageous, things that staff do, and they become legend in our, they become part of our lore and our legend. But is that what the city wants to depend on?
No, we don't want to burn out people.
No.
And we don't want to depend on it either.
Yeah.
We don't want to burn people out. And I could say that both Mark and Don are very courageous people, and they truly enjoy what they do here. But I can also tell they're also getting burned out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Can't blame them.
I can't blame them.
Yeah.
No,
For
one
that.
bit.
So really what this is about is one, okay, so, and then there's city administrator, which is a kind of a different thing. It's a different skill set, but to some degree, it's the public works end that is very difficult to
Yeah.
get.
Yeah.
We can't find a qualified
Yeah.
person, let alone a qualified water operator.
Mhm.
So what do?
Contract.
We may have to contract.
Yeah.
And if that's an expense, then there is contracting is more than that's about $110,000 a year. So
Mhm.
how do you get a city administrator and a water operator and backup for the city staff and everything else at
Yeah.
the same
Right.
time?
Yeah.
And so my purpose this evening really is to say, like I said last night, I'm not wedded to a specific date
Right.
to retire. It's just that at some point I would like to retire.
Yeah. And we want that for
I would
you
like to
too.
know that the time I've spent here was towards a plan that said, the happiest day would be for me to sit down and have a small celebration with all of you and hand the keys over and know that when I went to playing with my Legos and radios and all the things that I have amassed, that my wife says, when are you going to get back to those things again?
Yeah.
And a trip with my wife somewhere, that I can do so without having to carry a cell phone and know that the city's well in hand. And that it's well, that all your time as volunteers
Right.
that you spent well in hand. So that's really, when I said, we need to sit down and figure out what this transition period, it's not a short period, and I didn't intend it to be.
Okay.
My staff are also, I sent them the same email. Of course, they're wide-eyed, because, that's hard for them too. They depend on my expertise to
Yeah.
get them through their day. And, I don't want the angst, anytime there's change, that from your jobs, anytime there's a change in leadership, there's angst.
Yep.
You don't know what to expect. And I want
yeah.
to absolutely minimize that. You've got two really, really good people
Yeah.
here. They grew up here. They went to school here.
Yeah.
They feel like they're as much part of the community as anyone, if not more so. Don knows everyone almost by name. Mark knows everyone plus more. His phone was silent while I was gone. And as soon as he came back, they knew his phone was dinging, ringing. But that's what we want.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
what I want.
Yeah.
Right.
I can train skills. but I can't train for the attitude and the
Right.
goodwill that these two individuals
Mhm.
Yeah.
give to the city. And I
They're
think that's
good.
incredible
Yeah.
for all of us. So how do we, and we have the library
Right.
and we have a city hall that unfortunately got structurally damaged a few years ago. And a structural engineer said,
Nope.
nope, ain't
Yeah.
gonna fly. So how do we make all that work? And we're not gonna make that work tonight. We know, and that's,
Why not?
We could. I said, well, we could.
The 1135. We've got so many big projects.
35.
Yeah,
We have all
Yeah.
these planning, we have
Yeah.
the Surges
the development's coming, yeah.
and Rosses and everyone wanting, and the UGB and everything else that people want from us.
Mhm.
How do we make that happen? And how do we plan over, because we're in a biennium budget. How do we get to a point where we start getting closer to the next biennium and be able to plan for that money? We may need to go to the voters. Oh, let me make sure, Counselor
Well, I
Rich, there we
guess I
go,
have a-
sorry.
I have a question about that.
Yes.
So we've already voted on our biennium budget.
Yes,
It's already locked in. We can't,
no, we can change it.
okay.
That was the whole stipulation. We
Yeah.
can still.
Oh, yeah.
change it.
Revisit.
We just don't have to-
Okay.
We just don't have to go through the full budget
Right.
committee and public
Okay.
process.
Yeah.
So if
We
we
can
need-
still have supplemental, we can still have to post and have people come in and comment and do all
Okay.
that. And we can raise more money through taxes or other means. We can reduce our expenditures. We can do all of that.
So
And
if we need to budget for 2 more FTE in addition to your,
I would say that right now, and my worry, I haven't reposted the utility one. And the reason why is what do we do? Now,
Yeah.
if I'm here for a while,
Mhm.
then we can certainly afford to bring a utility one. I mean, I brought Mark on and he wasn't a utility person. He was a US Navy guy, but he was the only one that was able to figure. I had a very simple test.
Remember.
It was a working interview. You gave him a little thing and
I had him take a water
Yep.
meter, and because
Yeah.
I had been installing water meters
yeah.
out there on Shelby and Aldrich,
Mhm.
or Aldrich, excuse me, not Shelby. That wasn't done yet, but Aldrich. I was on Aldrich doing water meters, and so I had these, and so I said, okay, figure this out.
Yep.
He was the only one that was able to just
Yeah, I
pick it up
remember, yeah.
and intuitively figure it out,
It's awesome.
and also asked a very appropriate question. So I'm thinking, aha, someone who knows a little bit, who's intuitive, and also knows enough to ask questions. Mark does not know the water system. He's not a water system manager. He's an operator. But if something is not right, he will tell me immediately. He won't go there, try to fiddle with controls. He won't ignore it.
Good.
He'll simply, I mean,
Good.
our texts are always, it always starts in the morning. Sir, I'm ready to start up. Click, thumbs up.
Mhm.
And every single bit of communication we have when that plant is operating comes through here.
Yeah.
I know exactly what's going on.
Wow.
And he tells me, he says, hey, is this right? Today, for instance, one of our gauges was interspersing dollar signs in it.
That's
Okay.
weird.
Yes. So I told him, tongue in cheek, it's because it wants you to insert your paycheck. She sent me the white-eyed emoji. So I got to the water plant. He said, did it take it? And I said, oh, it probably wants mine too. Need a circuit breaker on and off. But that's the level of communication we have. And so I absolutely trust, even though Mark does not know how to fix something if it goes awry,
He knows when. to
he
act.
knows enough to ensure that the water plant is not producing unsafe water. And that's the level of
Yeah.
trust that I need. I don't need the next Einstein or level 4 water operator. What we need is someone who's willing to come in and be that Mark in there.
Right.
But with that said, can we hire somebody? I mean,
Sure.
I mean, because we are gonna have problems and it's long-term solution. I just don't think it's gonna be to contract that out. That's gonna be.
Yeah,
If we dangle a carrot in front of somebody and we offer a stepped program for them to achieve that certification with bump and pay.
We offer that
And we
currently.
Yeah, we do. We do that already.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
I mean, because I mean,
When Mark was offered, he was given, for every test he passes, he gets a 50%, he gets a 50 cent an hour increase and more if he becomes a DRC.
The
Matter of fact, he'll be bumped up to a utility 3
yeah.
at that point. We have that on our classifications.
Yeah.
Our biggest, and correct me if I'm mistaken, Steve, our biggest challenge is getting people to commute from outside of Monroe if they don't already live here into Monroe. We're lucky that Dawn lives in Junction City and Mark lives up the hill,
Yeah.
right? But it's for an,
And people that get to
Yeah.
the level 2 classification, we cannot compete with Corvallis. We
Yeah.
cannot compete with eWeb.
In Eugene, yeah.
We had somebody local,
but we don't have anybody local.
but I mean, I.
I've had no one apply. There's no one here local that's a grade 2. Absolutely no one here is a
Well,
grade
no,
2.
I don't think there'd be anybody who's a grade 2, but if we hire somebody at Public Works level 1, whatever that is.
I
and
have
we-
not had anyone apply from Monroe.
Not 1%.
Not one
Hmm.
person. The only person that did was Mr. Littlejohn,
Who?
Oh, this is Emma's.
Emma's beau.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't met him. Is this something, I know the ICMA can help us find a city administrator or a city manager, but can the ICMA help with this type of stuff or is it just city manager?
At this point, I'm gonna go to the LAWU, Oregon Association of Water Utilities.
Okay.
They're the
Okay.
ones that kind of keep a tab on every single water operator and wastewater operator in the state.
Oh, because they
And
manage
I've already talked with
licenses.
them, and
Okay.
they're the ones that could probably find us, keep tabs on someone that would be willing to consider it. It's just really does come down to, you know, how to attract and retain somebody and
Yeah.
not have them
Retain is really
and,
important.
and leave. We had one person that was a water operator too. He lasted 4 months, destroyed my number 1 cell, which I've been putting it off as long as I can, but that's the reason why I'm here again as an employee, was because he had the quals, but he had absolutely no clue how to run by
Oh,
himself,
God.
how to run a water. He was one of those folks in larger systems. He came from Phoenix. You sit in front of a SCADA screen and operate it, and if something goes wrong, you put a work order request and
Forward slash, and they can all control over their-
yeah, they all go
Yeah,
fix it. You
right.
don't have to. You just simply make sure that the system's running within parameters. Running the Long Tom River is even different from anything else. That's why Chuck said, I will become a DRC for you, but don't expect me to come over and run your plant.
Right.
I will be here as long as you're here.
Oh, man.
Um,
Okay.
Simply because it's a complex plant and it's
Yeah.
running from the Long Tom, and that water changes hourly.
Sadly.
Yeah, and very rad. Matter of fact, next week, that nice little stagnant pond will be 2 feet higher and running at about 1,200 cubic feet per second, minute, CFM, as opposed to 34 where it's at now. And it'll be doing that for the next 4 weeks because the Fern Ridge is
Yeah.
drawing down.
Yeah.
During the first few days of that, we don't pull water.
Yeah.
And I say this only slightly joking. I need to let the cows and other things go by, but we have had cows go by and other things too that come off the banks.
Yeah.
Wait, in the river?
Yes,
Yes.
a
Cows?
lot of dead. Yeah, we had a cow one time, dead fowl, animals, raccoons, possums.
Oh,
They die in they get to the close to the bank, they die and they just sit there. And then all of a sudden you see them rolling
loosened.
by your water intake. So we typically will not draw water the first few days. So right now I'm building that up. But even then, the water quality will change. I mean, other than
Yeah.
the fact it will become very muddy.
Yeah.
You know, right now I can run 30 minutes on a backwash cycle. When that starts happening, it'll be 15 minutes. So what might take 6 hours to produce water this time of year will
Take
still take
12.
me 8 to 10 hours to
Yeah.
produce
Okay.
water. Simply because I have to run a lot slower. Then when it gets cold, I mean, everything affects how we draw water from the source, as opposed to a well
Yeah.
or another cleaner source of
Mhm.
water.
Yeah.
So what, okay,
And those operators you can find, but they won't know how to run
This
the
Yes,
system
stupid unique
without about a
system.
year's worth of training.
Right. And it doesn't help that our system is so special snowflake
It's
unicorn.
very specialized and it will probably
Yes.
always be to some degree simply because of the relatively dirty water we pull from.
Ugh,
Now,
Okay.
we make it very clean.
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
what we pull out is
Mud.
pristine, but it just takes a lot more processing and a lot more detailed processing to make that happen. So it's like finding someone to come on board and do that, you're going to spend about 1 year with them till they learn the ropes. They have to learn how to run the system. That's the first 6 months. They got to get a feel for how to run the system in the dirty parts of the year. How does the water change? Get a feel for it. You know, there's a
Mhm.
rhythm to that plant and to the
Yeah.
weather. You have to be tuned to it. So that takes about a year, and then about another 2 years beyond that, simply to get to a point
Mhm.
where you're very comfortable.
Mhm.
You know how it works.
You ran into all the issues and you know how to
Right.
pivot and.
Which is why a grade 2 takes 3 years. They weren't
Right.
kidding. I
Makes
thought
sense.
originally, oh, why have to wait all this long? Yeah, there's a reason why.
So what do you recommend? Where do we start? Do we start with the utility worker or do we start with a water works or public works person? Like what will ease you toward
Okay.
being with your wife more? End goal, Steve spends more time with his partner.
That really is, from my viewpoint, that's where we're at. How do we get to a point where we ease out the door?
Yeah,
Okay.
But
We have
slowly and
less time,
sustainably.
More time here. Be able to take some time off. I'm almost at a point where I could feel like I could take maybe the Tuesday through Friday, right after our work session.
Mm.
That
Mhm.
portion of a
Mhm.
week,
Mhm.
I think comfortable if Mark and Don are healthy.
that would be your first.
That would be
like-
kind of my first thing, is start looking at some of those periods
Right.
to
Yeah.
do that.
Right.
The next 2 days I'll be home, but that's because my wife is alone and we have dogs. One of them, Mishka, is quite large. And I don't know if you ever seen that little cartoon, Doug
Yeah.
and the squirrel.
Mhm.
That's Mishka.
And your partner's
She'll
very
take off and
tiny.
I'm really worried that she would take poor Lynn for a ride, and she's already been a couple times. So
Yeah.
with and the reason why is my daughter is out in Eastern Oregon having her vacation.
Nice.
So
Okay.
these are the kinds of things, as I move along, I need to be able to take
Yeah,
more
of
care of them and
course.
feel like, yeah, if things will be well in hand. And for the next few days, they will be.
And if I'm
we're in a
I'm
good point.
correct, this is your first actual vacation that you have taken.
This will be the first time that I've actually have taken, I think, 2 days in the middle of a week.
I was gonna
Yes.
say, usually it's like a long weekend or something.
Long weekend,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
But this is the
yeah.
first time I've taken. Now, I will be back Friday afternoon briefly to work with Dawn, make sure everything's signed off, and I get her SOPs and anything that she needs, because she's gonna be gone.
Yeah.
But
Right.
that'll just be for a few hours, and I'll
Yeah.
check in and make sure everything's okay before the weekend.
Okay.
But otherwise, yeah, this is the first time I've had 2 days in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
In 5 years.
That's,
6 years.
6 years, with the exception of that 4 months where they had the other water operator. For a period of time, I was going to ATI from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock.
I remember hearing about that.
And then I would get in the
Gosh.
car and come here, and from 5 to 10, run the water plant.
oh my.
I remember those
Crazy.
days.
Actually, that was a lot of fun. I know people
Yeah.
look at me like, you're crazy. Maybe I was, but it was a lot of fun.
Coming over to my house to, drop one of the containers off for the sample, the water sample. And it was in you
Evening.
just, yeah. I was like, how are you doing? Are you doing okay? And you were like, yeah, I'm doing great. You know?
No, that was actually a lot of fun. The job at ATI was, for me, intellectually very, very challenging. It's challenging and stimulating. I got to work with, as I've said, scientists from around the world, and it was very rewarding. But it was also very rewarding to be able to come down here, watch a baseball game in the summertime.
Mhm.
Watch the kids
Right.
play, have the
Yeah.
door open, watch the kids play.
Yeah.
There was no downside to it,
Mhm.
except that,
The
6
time.
years ago, I was kind of willing to do that. 6 years later, yeah, the
Things
family
change.
situation is changing. somewhat,
Absolutely.
And I
Yeah.
need to look at that going to the future.
Yeah.
But yes, counselor, to that point is, how do we get to a point where Steve is absolutely not needed?
Yeah.
That he's not needed to fill in for some spots. So I think the first step really is the utility person. And
Okay.
in my heart of hearts, I really am looking towards finding that person that we can grow.
Okay.
To that end, the OAWU they believe in February of this year, coming year, will become state certified for their apprenticeship program.
Mm.
And I have signed up, I put our name in first.
Awesome.
Okay.
Because I would be, when I was at the Council of Governments, I was on the CWE board,
Mhm.
cooperative work experience and internship programs for all the community colleges.
Mm.
So I was on the board at Shemeketa. And
Mhm.
we ran the Council of Governments, I had contracts with 18 small cities, including Monroe and fire districts and everything else. We had 3 staff.
Wow.
But I had 10 interns in CWE.
Mm.
Mhm.
Smart. That's
Yeah.
a good way to get it done and
Yeah.
help them.
They got their
develop.
credits.
Mhm.
Yep.
They got
Yeah.
huge amounts of experience.
Oh, yeah,
And we
definitely.
were able to take care and provide services for a lot of folks. That is what is going to grow Monroe.
Okay. So.
It's going to be
always-
finding that young person and getting them out of high school, or maybe they're in community college and it's not working for them.
Mhm,
Like my first year in college didn't work for me,
mhm.
and they needed something else. They're looking for that. Public Works is just not one of those first things that anyone thinks of. And I really feel challenged personally to make it more worth people's while, because it's far more than what people think.
Yeah.
I mean, you deal with a lot of things
Yeah.
on a daily basis, and a lot of it's technical,
Yeah.
science. It's certainly STEM.
Mhm.
I mean, I've had to use Manning equations and everything else just to figure out why the lagoon valves were the way they were. But there was a simple math equation. Huh, amazing. But so there's a lot of things that you can, that I think would be very challenging for people to come into and learn and apprentice and do that. My grandson would be, he came down in 2 weeks. He had him here for 2 weeks as a volunteer.
Yeah. He was a really nice kid.
He was
Very
very
nice.
good worker. He and Mark really hit it off well. I think both of them are kind of two peas in a pod anyway. But he learned all the startup sequences for the water plant, including how to do the labs under supervision.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But he was able to remember and retain all that. So I know it's possible. That was one of my, okay, well, I know Austin's a smart kid,
Yeah.
you know, but he's a 16-year-old.
Right.
Mhm.
And they always tend to be a bit squirrely anyway.
Right. Not
Um,
ready to be pinned down. to a
Not
career.
quite, yeah. But how will he do? How will he? Well, he did really well. Matter of fact, so well that I would say that given kind of the right person
Mhm,
to bring in, that would be a great program for the
Mhm.
city, and then be able to move them into a real position, you know, offer them that first job
Right.
Yeah.
to do that. I think that's the only way that Monroe is going to get
Okay.
that long term.
Right.
And-
Otherwise, we're going to be spending $110,000 to $125,000 a year for a contract when we don't have that money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I need to clarify some things in my notes. So in old business, I see utility worker update, and then I wrote next to it, public works and water operator. So I've got 3 different titles referenced in here. We're talking about an apprentice or intern for utility worker, public works, or water operator.
I think we're looking at 2 things.
Mhm,
One, the first one is to continue, look at the utility worker, but maybe what I need to do is word it in a different way.
Mhm.
Okay.
Maybe word it in a way that says, we're going to build you into the next. Now, our job classifications do say that. They say this is an entry level position, but is this, you will work with the utility 2, and this, you will become a utility 2, and the utility 2 is going to become a utility 3. We make it very clear these are not standalone jobs. Unfortunately, all this last time that I received
Right.
were people that were, you know, I was a maintenance worker here, or I swept floors there,
Okay.
and I'm looking for a job, and it's like, these folks, I'm looking for something different.
Yeah.
I'm looking for that Austin. I'm looking for the Mark.
Mhm.
Right.
And I think I need to look at that again and make sure that because that's really what's going to grow our city.
Mhm.
And then I can spend my time ensuring that those people can become the utility 1 and then become that utility 2. My hope is that they're going to really want to become a water operator
Right.
or a wastewater operator. And that way, when Mark has to be on reserves, we have someone to cover for him.
Yeah.
And that would be the end goal. So I'm going to redo that and think about that.
Okay. So that's 1. That's the utility worker.
Yeah.
Okay. The city administrator position.
So the city administrator position, I do not, unless the council wants it to be a sooner transition, I don't believe it has to be a soon transition.
A what transition?
Soon, something
Okay.
immediate transition.
Thank you.
I think what this is really, I think what I'm hearing is more along the lines of, let's see how, and this is what my preference would be, is to find that utility person that we can bring. We need to grow specifically our utility staff. We need to have a pipeline
Yeah.
in there. And that pipeline would be a utility worker that can work with Mark,
Mhm.
grow that individual to be able to take Mark's place if Mark has to go or sick or kids or whatever, that they can both work together and complement each other and be able to trade each other's responsibilities. They might start as utility one, but they would certainly grow into utility two. And the idea would be fine. We have two utility twos. Great.
That's great.
Mark is getting his tests. He's finally getting on track to get his tests done.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he will become a DRC for the water plant. I mean, excuse me, for the wastewater
Mm.
first.
Right.
That would be great because we're paying $1,500 to Chuck each month
Yeah.
to do that. He'll get a raise. Mark will.
Yeah.
And we
And
could
we
cut
save a
Chuck
little bit of
loose.
money and we
Yeah.
could utilize that in our utility worker
Right.
group.
Right.
Then we start looking at the apprentices and other things. I love that this apprenticeship program would be absolutely perfect. Then we can start putting someone into that pipeline
Mhm.
who's going to get essentially paid by we pay for their training and they get paid through the the
Right.
Paid
The program.
internship.
Yeah,
Right.
through the
Yeah.
program.
So
Yeah.
basically that's about $4,500 a year.
That's great. That's
okay?
nothing to us
That's
for
yeah,
considering
comparatively.
the service.
And we have someone now who can come in and start learning how to be that next water and waste operator.
Who is that?
No, that.
Oh, you're
that's
just
gonna
saying,
build
okay,
them up,
sorry. I was
yeah.
like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I thought you said nobody applied.
Right.
And in a couple years, who knows? Maybe Austin wants to come down.
Yeah, if he wants
was very
to.
excited to come work down here.
That's
He
awesome.
really
Awesome.
and truly loved this town. So that was fun.
That's awesome.
And that would be great. It would be, it would be great to have that, that
Legacy.
legacy of Martinenko
Yeah.
still there. But doing something that this is a job I would have, if I would have understood what a public works person did, coming out of the service, maybe that's what I would have done,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah,
looking back.
sure.
Yeah.
But I went into electronics and IT, and I'm here anyway. So
So you got here.
I just got
eventually.
here eventually, just the circuitous route. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. And then as we move along, I think all of this is going to cost the city something maybe more than what we're currently looking at.
Yeah.
And my other part of this is that I think it's important for us. We have these other irons in the fire too.
Right.
And so somehow we're going to have to either go to voters or do something as we go along here to get these other projects and things done,
Mhm.
or be more careful what we agree to with other things, make sure that they're paid for.
Mhm.
I think the 1135 is probably much better in hand since it's really the Long Tom Watersheds Council's agenda anyway. They're handling it. They want to pay for it. And the attorney says they're paying for it. So good. We get a new water intake and the fishes can go upstream, whichever ones those are.
Yeah. There's a lot.
Well, now your son pulled,
Yes. He pulls a lot of things.
he's the one that pulled that bass out of the river, isn't he?
I
Nice.
think so. It was him or one of
Yeah.
his friends. Yeah.
My goodness.
Fishing down there.
Yeah, now we're
Regularly.
not talking a small bass here. We're talking like a 2.5, 3 pound bass.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah.
significant.
Oh, he always sends me pictures when he's
I've only back in Indiana, I caught a 2.5 pound bass, and that was the biggest fight I've ever had. I mean, that's like a salmon out here,
Yeah.
but they pulled it right out the bottom
Oh,
of the dam.
I mean, do you want to eat fish out of the Long Tom?
No, they don't. They don't do anything
Okay.
with them. I mean, it's
Ah,
they just set them.
Yeah, I don't
they
know.
set them off.
At
you know.
this time of year, I'm not sure, but that bass was certainly eating something
None.
nutritious.
My wife has made it very clear. You're not bringing anything. home."
Gotta send you the pictures because that's a big fish.
That
That's
is
a
a
good
big
catch.
fish.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Very impressive.
Oh, yeah.
I was.
Oh yes.
Oh no, excuse me. It was Mark's son,
Oh, was it
okay.
Mark's son?
Spencer.
It was Spencer.
Spencer got into.
I know one of my son's friends. has
I
got
know.
a big
Yeah,
one,
I know
too.
they're all down there together.
Oh yes, they all are.
They'll have fun with Spencer. It's like I've seen a lot of fish. down
I've
there.
seen
Anyway,
those pictures too,
I
yeah.
doubt that those fish will go away.
Oh, no.
It's just that because there's enough pools. And
They'll
things.
get bigger.
But, and it'll still get muddy and high water in the
Ugh.
winter time. That's just the way it
What else
is.
is
Yeah.
good?
We don't have a choice.
Yeah.
But at least at that point, we wouldn't have to worry about a sluice way giving way on the water. Having to go out there in our scuba gear and,
Right, that was no fun.
yeah. Yeah, we spend a lot of money on that,
Mhm.
trying to get that gate in place. Anyway, so that's kind of my thought this evening, in terms of transition is not an immediate transition, but I think what you just said is how do we get Steve to a point where he can take a vacation? How can we get Steve to the point where he can transition out the door and we can have that nice party with everybody, including the staff to hand it off to?
Yeah.
And everyone's
Wow.
comfortable and knows that are the goals of the city have been addressed
Yeah.
and are in hand. Because right now, with just 3 staff, it's hard.
Well, we went from 4.5 staff to 3 staff.
3
So I mean,
staff.
we have we've reduced our
Reduced.
workforce by, what would that have been, like 30% at the time?
30%.
Hmm.
And a lot of that is simply because our budget won't handle that.
Yeah.
So how do we get to a point where our front
Mhm.
office does need at least a half-time person up front, an
Yeah.
additional half-time person?
Yeah,
So,
Public Works needs to have that additional person. So that's the other part of it too.
Mhm.
While we're training and putting a new Public Works person in place, which will be significant, that'll be time on my part. How do we ensure that we have that backup up front?
yeah.
yeah.
So that's the other piece of the puzzle. Can
When-
we afford another half-time person? I believe we can, but at this point, because I haven't hired a utility worker one
Right.
yet, so
I mean, we had money set aside for another position that we wound up not filling, right? I mean, the money is,
I did not in the end post for anyone up front. But I think we can. So I'm gonna have to look at that again, and we might
Yeah.
take a look at that at the beginning of the year when we do our budget review, because we'll need to do a budget
Yeah.
review.
Mhm.
yeah.
And look at that, how can we do that so that, because right now I give Dawn a lot of latitude. Like if her kids are sick or something,
Yeah.
she'll bring them in and she'll set them in the other room
Yeah.
and set up a tent and
Give them books.
give them
I know,
books and
but by
crayons.
doing that just, you'll get so much more from her because
Yeah.
that's just respect, I
Yes, it
think,
is.
I mean.
I give her that
Pride and
latitude.
Yeah,
flexibility.
it's being, and it pays in.
Yep.
On the back end. it
And
really
if she
does.
needs, if the kids need to come in, I have, they're
Yeah.
cool kids. Yesterday, I brought me this cool book and I was looking at it and I said, what's that, Kayla? And no, I said, this book has an app with it.
Ooh.
So if
Great.
you click on the app in the book pieces, it'll give you much more spooky information. Her
Whoa.
eyes lit up.
Fun.
Mom!
Oh, that's fun.
Those are the things I enjoy.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
those are
and
the kinds of things, or I have Emerson in, that's one of Mark's
Yeah,
kids.
that's one of our kids, yeah.
So I have another
Yes.
question. So with your position description, we last reviewed it about a year ago, right?
We need to
And-
we need to actually bring it up and.
We're gonna have to
review
break it
again.
into 2, possibly 3 different roles.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you've also got a city planner
Yeah, I
piece
was,
built into your.
I have
piece.
all
He
sorts of
does,
things. And
yes,
so,
he does.
as part of this period is also, I think, to break out all these different things
Mhm.
and make sure that they get done in a way that is, that it can be done.
Yeah,
That we're not giving people, telling people I have to wait 5 weeks for me to get back around to it again.
right.
Because that's important.
Yeah.
And particularly as we're coming up this next 12 months, it looks to me as though we're gonna have a lot of planning activity.
Yeah.
Yes.
A
So
lot of
some of
what?
planning.
Planning
activity.
Like
activity.
development.
Yep. Okay.
So some of that may also be, we need to contract out to some of that, and we may need, and incorporate that in our rates.
Yep.
Mhm.
So we're not paying the cost for that. As if you're coming in and we need that, particularly with these big developments.
Yeah. So would that cost get passed on to the
Yes.
developer, and then they
Yes.
would probably pass that on to the purchaser, the home buyer?
We would give that on to the developer along with our city engineer. So we
Okay.
would get a planner and an engineer.
Oh,
So they would be responsible for making sure that our codes, our engineering specifications. We use branch engineering for doing the specs and
Got
overseeing what North Santiam Paving did for Red Hills, and that was invaluable.
They didn't do.
Well,
Sorry.
Well,
Were
some
they-
of that was.
the Red Hills did what I think North Santiam Paving did their part. It was Monte Vista that didn't follow up the way they were supposed to. But see, Monte Vista was getting their permits from Benton County.
Mm,
And so there
right.
was a lot of assumptions made that at this point I would not allow. And I've been working with Benton County saying, no, you can't just approve it without talking to me first.
Yeah.
Once you talk to me, then you can approve it, but not until.
Well, yeah, we need
Was
to know
that-
what's going on.
Yeah, and that hasn't been happening.
Yeah.
That was Pat Deppa, right?
What's that? I'm sorry.
Was that Pat Deppa or? somebody-
Yes.
Okay,
that
and
was
we are
cor-
no longer partnering with
Yeah,
him. We will not
he's
partner
no
with him
longer
again.
with
He's no
us.
longer there.
Yeah,
Well, he's no
he's-
longer there.
Even with
I
the,
don't think he's with the county anymore, is
I
he?
didn't realize that. I thought we just broke our contract or whatever with him. with them.
They're really, Benton County is also at a point where they were burned badly by Pat Deppa as
Oh, I
well.
bet.
Yeah.
I bet. That's
So
unfortunate
that
for
really
everybody in the
soured
county.
a lot of things with a lot of folks. That Chris Workman went and hired his own planner.
Yeah.
And so.
Is that Philomath?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, Flomuth and Adair. I think even Pat has his own person now too. And we will too, as soon as we get to a point where we can afford it.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. It is very much a planner will take a lot of time doing planning stuff, and
Yeah.
the state of Oregon doesn't make it easy. There's a
Yeah.
lot of rules and regulations,
Yeah.
Stacks of paper this tall, I'm
stacks
sure.
of paper, and they were written by planners for planners.
So on top of all of this, this budgety stuff that we'll be thinking about, we also need to plan for a new city hall.
On a new
So-
city hall, and that's, I thought of a lot of different ways of doing it.
Mhm.
The cheapest would be to utilize the library.
I just don't like it. The reader
Be the
building.
cheapest.
I know, but we'd be consolidating everything into one building and all of
I-
our expenses into one building instead of having
Mm,
two expenses, we'd have everything in one.
I think it's a bad look.
Well, but you know, as
It's-
we had the library next to City Hall before. That's what that empty space
There's
next to
that
City Hall
Halsey, and
was.
there's a lot of city halls that have.
Yeah, a lot of them do. I don't understand why it's so bad. But
It does
that's
boil
my
down to.
personal opinion.
Of course, of course. It's just, it seems like it's a radioactive topic.
It seems
and
like
I'm
it's a radioactive topic
Because of
because
it, the
because
timing.
I don't think they understand fully the scope of what it's.
I
on the
don't
table to
know
be
how
used
many
for.
times you can tell a group of people that we have staff people that are in a building that if we had an earthquake, it would fall down on them. And if they were in
They
the,
don't count, Mayor, right? Like we are part
Apparently
of the
not.
community, right? He only cares about the library, or that group only.
I
cares
know,
about
and that's
library,
the thing.
This is part of, this is the heart of our community too. I mean, I've come from communities that have their city hall in the
Mhm.
library. It's very common.
Yeah,
And we wouldn't be taking the library portion away,
no,
right?
of course not.
No. So one thing
Anyway.
that you can do,
Yes.
one thing that you can do, I think regardless, the cost of a city hall, even if you do modular, is
80,000.
expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh,
There's
it
no
is.
way around it.
yeah, oh, yeah,
So we do have a city hall building.
yes.
The cheapest would be to demolish it,
Hmm,
maybe reutilize some of the, we certainly save the signs on it and maybe save some of the brick and
yeah.
some of that, but the rest of it is, would just be simply bulldozed and carted off. You could certainly put something back on it again, whether it's stick built or modular. You could certainly do that, but it would take probably going to the voters to get a
Right.
bond or
Levy,
something
yeah.
to build City Hall.
Yeah.
You can also tie that into the library as well. Because certainly City Hall could be in the library, but if the community does not want it to, they can certainly vote.
Well, we don't
do
know
so.
about the city residents. We only hear about the people that live outside.
And
the
that's,
city.
and that's why if we,
Constituents.
and that's why if you went to the voters and let them decide what they
Yes.
want to do,
Yes,
it might be a better solution than
right.
the City Hall arbitrarily, the city council arbitrarily saying, this is what we're gonna do.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't think anyone would have, I really don't think anyone would have an issue if it were used temporarily.
Right,
Absolutely.
right, and that could,
While we're building here,
right,
we
yes.
do something there.
Think
I
there'd be
think
an
everyone
issue
would
there.
say that's the most we could do for you folks. And that's, but at the same time, giving the voters of Monroe an opportunity to weigh in and say, what do you guys want to do? Because
Yeah.
they might just say, you know what, I don't want my taxes raised, go move over to the library. Well,
No,
the
they
voters.
could
But-
very well say that. I mean, I don't know.
The library,
Isn't
Go ahead.
there issue with, I mean, basically I know that you're gonna be negotiating with them, but I thought the other issue is that it can only be used as a
Yeah.
library
It
in
can-
the
Right now. Well,
easement currently.
The current easement, yeah.
Right, so at this point, when you go to when you start the negotiation on the easement.
Yep.
There's one of, the possible outcomes is that the easement is we mutually agree. I mean, SBCE is going to have to change it. We can't. We have no say in it. They can either change it and allow other activities to occur,
Mhm,
or allow some other mechanism to allow it to be used temporarily on
mhm.
some, because we can't even use it temporarily right now. Or they can agree to let us use it, say that this is the library and the depot is clearly was part of Monroe, so I think that they may decide that's equitable and do that. Or they may say, nope, can't do it at all, and the city council may be in a position of saying at that point, it's your building.
Right,
And then we take the money that we otherwise spend there and spend it
right.
elsewhere. So I think those are really your choices. To say that we could utilize the building is really jumping. You
Yeah.
know, that would be assuming that they would even
Or
allow
even
it to
open
begin
to
with.
it.
I have heard behind the scenes that temporary use would be probably acceptable as long as it was in writing that it was temporary use,
Right.
but not permanent.
And I've heard that the SBCEA, whatever, is very interested in taking full ownership over the building.
I've heard that as well. And if that is the,
Might be a nice way for the city to just say, it's all yours, you maintain it, you pay the
it's
bills.
your thing. And
It's
I
your
think,
baby.
I think that would be
I
actually.
think that would be the best outcome because
do
if
too.
it's
Agreed.
not a city, yeah, if it
Mhm.
doesn't benefit the city at all to
Yep.
have, basically the library is paid for with library taxes and then the city's on the hook for all the liabilities of the building, but not,
Yeah.
doesn't get to use it as anything other than,
Right.
And when
I'd
we
rather
have,
just give it to a party that wanted to just
yeah,
Yeah, agreed.
take care of it.
Yeah, and that also helps us simplify our public works
definitely.
posture as
Oh,
well.
that's true. We wouldn't have to spend time
deal
cleaning
with-
it or maintaining
yeah.
it,
That
like,
building
Very
is very
simple.
complex
yeah.
Yes,
and
expensive.
I know about it. I know enough about the building because it's really no different than the council of governments building in terms of its complexity.
Yeah.
But
For here, it's just too
for here,
much.
it's a bridge too far.
It
Well,
is.
and also
Library too far
what's
for
the
us.
utilities and stuff for that building? Because, if you're not paying those expenses, then you could maybe eke out a lease payment on a modular
Absolutely.
building across the street from the current,
That's,
You're
More like
exactly
thought
right,
process,
Counselor.
yeah.
You're exactly
Yeah.
right. And that's what I think the best outcome would be is to, then at that point, what we could do is at least we could put a lease payment, put a city hall and a substation across the way, and then go to the voters and ask for a new city hall,
yeah,
which makes much more sense to me than
yeah,
what we're currently doing.
Yeah.
yeah.
And that would make staff happier too, because I know they don't complain about it. But I will say that they're very concerned about it.
I'm sure they're in an
Yes.
earthquake.
Yeah.
Trap.
I show them how to, but if you're up front, I think I can give them 15 or 20 seconds to get out. But if you're in the back bathroom, you're not going to know,
No.
No.
or in the back part of the building, you're not going to know,
Yeah.
So
Um,
anyway,
Mhm.
as this moves along, if what I have heard and what Counselor Linder you've heard is accurate, then this might be a very easy issue.
And And when the library committee convenes, whenever you hear back from the
And hear back,
commissioners,
yep.
I'm,
Hopefully tomorrow, or the next day.
yeah, I remember you said Wednesday probably. That's gonna be one of the very first things I bring up because I know, not REA, the SBCEA.
Mhm.
Roger, thank you. I know he's been vocal to REA, who's then telling me like Roger is happy to take
Perfect.
full ownership. And
Well,
that
then
would
we'll
be
have
wonderful.
Roger tell us that then.
yeah, exactly. Like I would like to hear it from Roger, not REA, but
Yeah,
anyway.
That's great.
Yeah.
Roger's the
Hey,
president
no
of
meetings,
the,
Yeah.
no more meeting, yeah, one less meeting.
Yeah.
That makes Steve happy.
Yeah,
yeah, no
And
doubt.
also I think that makes the city happy. And then we can actually feel like we can move forward with doing some other things, as Councilor Rich has said. I
Yep.
think
Oh,
that's a
yeah.
great idea.
and I'm sorry, I'm going to turn this off. I think it would be interesting if they realized exactly how expensive it is to probably do deep cleans on that building.
I agree wholeheartedly.
They'll
Yep,
have a
moment.
moment of
A
awakening.
very special moment.
When I asked Ashley that, and she started going off and telling, then she stopped. She said how terribly expensive it is to clean. the
Oh, what do you
Corrales
know?
building.
Yeah.
Of course, I know how terribly expensive it is. It is expensive
Yeah,
to do it correctly, to do all the scheduled cleanings
Yep.
and
Right.
maintenance and to maintain it. Of course it is,
yeah.
and we, anyway.
She wanted to bleed blood out of a stone. We don't have anything to give.
Afraid not.
And I wish the city had their library's budget, 7.2 million.
Yeah.
Operational against
we
the
could fund with
1.1
that.
million operational. I could do a lot with that extra.
Oh,
All of
yeah.
you could have lots of,
We would all get raises.
yeah.
100% raise.
We've had this conversation.
Yeah.
before.
So,
Oh, yeah, no, I'm glad, I know we weren't gonna talk about the library, but I'm really glad to hear that you guys are all potentially on board. with
well,
that.
the
So,
library,
it's just nice to
city
hear that.
hall, Public Works, all of these are all part of
Mhm.
that equation.
They're all
Yeah.
connected.
And they're
yeah.
all connected because it's
Yeah.
all, we have so little money, it really does impact all of that.
Yeah,
And we don't want to burn people out. I
No.
really don't, it'd be a real travesty to lose Mark or Dawn,
Yes.
either one.
yeah,
And because one, so much time has been spent, but number two, they really want to be here.
yeah,
Which
That's
that's
wonderful.
awesome. Right
That's
there.
awesome.
yeah.
It
You
speaks
can't find
volumes.
that.
You can't find that. And when you do find it, we have to hold
Keep
on
'em.
to it. Yes.
And you'll do anything to keep
Right,
it.
which is
Yes, and-
again, why I'm not in any hurry, because that would drive them off.
Yeah,
It would create too much angst for them,
Yeah.
definitely.
and we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
We just don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's,
I wonder if, I mean, I know we don't have the money to give out increases willy-nilly and they just received what, 5.5%.
Mhm.
If they stick around, which I really hope they will for, I don't know, through this till the end, it would be nice to give them some kind of a bonus or something, or just like a thank you for staying with us through
I
a
think
hard
at
time.
when our budget committee reconvenes after the first of the year, I think that would be appropriate just to consider that.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I think the council should consider that.
Okay,
Well, it's a great way to,
Yeah,
yeah.
solidify their relationship with the
Right.
city and to
Yeah.
keep them here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
retention and
And
acknowledgement
retention,
for
yeah.
all they do for us.
and I really
Exactly.
want to try to get another person in place for Mark, so he doesn't feel he's the only person out there
yeah,
doing everything.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, he's really, I don't know how he does it.
yeah. And with
he-
a smile, he talks with
he
people
gets-
so
he-
well.
Oh, I know.
he has a lot of help and a lot of encouragement, but still, at the end of the day, he is the one that has to interface with the city.
Yeah.
He is the public works person,
Mm.
so.
And then Dawn has to interface with everybody who has
And she
questions about their
is the
bills.
city
or-
confessor,
Yeah.
literally. She is the person that people are now trust to come talk to.
Nice.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That and
Wow.
love-
We did not have that.
That
5
and the
years
love
ago.
letters,
Haven't
boy.
had that in a very, very, very long time.
No, it has been a long time.
Very long time.
Yeah.
To have that level of trust, and she's willing. I help her understand how to look things up, like how to look when someone asks for property
Hmm,
information, how to get that
Mhm.
information, how to get the basics, how to get stuff like setbacks and all that.
hmm.
She knows that I have too much on my plate, so she's trying very hard, but I also don't want to overburden her
Right.
either. I also don't want to, this is, one of those things, this happened with our former person that was there
Jenny.
when the former administrator left.
Oh,
Um, she was given more things.
Oh, this is not
Asked-
Jenny.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
this was Tracy.
Tracy then, yeah.
And she took some of it on, thinking initially that would be great, wonderful, but it was too much.
yeah, just kept
And it
taking
went,
it
went-
on.
everything went downhill very
Yeah,
quickly. and
she made mistakes and
it was
yeah.
bad news.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to happen with everyone.
no,
Wow.
no.
Which is why I also think we need to start looking at another halftime person up front,
Yeah,
because I need to have some of that administrative load taken off of me, and it's administrative load, not, I need to be able to focus on the planning pieces. I also need to focus on the making sure these folks that are coming in for public works are trained the way they need to be and
Mhm,
brought up
Right.
and encouraged and mentored and all that. That takes time.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
rather than spending evening hours working on minutes.
yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
absolutely. Not a good use of your time.
It's probably not. Get compared, it's important, but this last set of
Right.
meetings were 10 pages.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so, that's a fair amount of,
So with
I write
the-
more in my minutes than I did my college work. I mean, it's crazy.
With the part-time person, would you consider, depending on the person and the personality, looking into maybe easing them into like city recorder or something like that?
Yeah, I've talked, I think what I would probably do is have them take over some of the payments. I would probably look at Dawn
Mhm,
to become a deputy city recorder
okay,
and
Mhm.
start working into that realm, because she already does a lot of what we call a city. If you look at our charter goes way back.
Mhm.
And so back in the days when there was no city administrator at all, now, we didn't have a city administrator in 2001. That would have been
Oh.
Aaron Palmquist.
Mhm.
So before then, the city recorder, and in any town, the only position you're required to have is a city recorder. By the way, we're the only state that has a city recorder still, the title.
Wow.
Municipal clerk is the
Oh.
title given in most other states. But in our state is still city recorder, and it's a very important position.
Mhm.
It's a legal position.
Mhm.
So in our little burg here, we have made the city, because it is a legal position, the city administrator backfills that function as well.
Mm.
right.
We don't have to have it that way. Matter of fact, as we've been doing our ordinances, I've been writing that out for you and putting in city administrator or,
Mhm.
and so, but having a deputy city recorder is important, because they're the ones that can also do things such as pounding you need to cut your grass signs and
Oh.
other things that we require
Yeah.
out there. The other thing that takes a lot of Don's time is just simply recording payments and doing that sort of stuff. Look, doing AP, recording checks
Yeah.
and doing all that is about like me doing minutes.
Yeah.
It's important,
Yeah,
it's
it's
incredibly
mind-numbing.
important, but
Yeah.
it's a skill job. It's
Mhm.
something that someone could be trained to do. You have an SOP, next week I'll be doing it. You do this,
Right.
this, print,
Right,
put it in that folder.
Yeah.
That is not something that Dawn, I would much rather have her analyze my budget and make sure that my budget is on track. I've shown her how to do that, but it takes some time, but it's some charts in Excel,
Mhm, yeah,
downloading and making sure that's done. The second thing is she can be doing deputy recorder.
Mhm.
She got her notary.
Oh, I
which is
was
great.
wondering. That's
Yeah,
great.
she got her notary.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things that she can do along those lines. And at the same time, I'm showing her the municipal code. I'm showing her why I make those decisions. So a good example today, a great example. We have a nice lady from Red Hills
Mm.
as part of the Dragon Booster Club.
Mhm, yeah,
They want to hold a raffle.
Yeah.
And the raffle may have sealed bottles of wine in it.
Mhm.
So the new OLCC form is woefully inadequate. So I've
It's
already
the
written,
OLCC.
I have written them on,
CTV,
said,
all of it.
because I gave them this exact example. It's woefully inadequate.
Oh,
But regardless, I said, okay, so apparently they're not selling anything. It's just that maybe one of their baskets might have a bottle
A
of
bottle of
donated
or
wine,
something,
yeah.
but it's in a school.
Right,
kids.
Uh-huh.
right.
But there's nothing on they're not selling it. They're not drinking it on premise.
Just giving it away.
So they're just giving it
You can
away.
even legally give away alcohol.
Aha.
I mean, having worked in the alcohol industry at Two Town Cider House as their HR person for 3 years, we were not supposed to give away.
Can't. Except
Oh,
Oh, the
there's an
exception.
exception.
Uh-huh.
So I said, okay, so
Mhm.
Dawn, here's what I did in order to find the exception. I gave her my methodology. So I said, there's two parts to this. The first one is you have to find the Oregon statute and sure enough, 471 dot something says thou shalt not you cannot give away for lotteries,
Yep.
Bets
Raffles.
or anything else, except if you're a charitable foundation
501c3.
or a 501c3
That's right.
and you deliver the winnings
Oh.
to the residents,
Oh.
then it's allowed.
Huh, interesting.
Okay.
Okay, so I found the statute
Loophole.
Yeah.
loophole.
Yeah.
So then I said, well, okay, because it specifically says a nonprofit, I said, here's another tool. The state of Oregon's Secretary of State's business registry site. Type in the business name and see what it pops up with. Well, yep, Dragon Booster Club is there. But it was dissolved in 2015
Hmm.
Uh-oh.
I have the notarized, that gives you an image of the dissolved thing. So
Right.
I had to deny it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, but this is the kind of thing that you have to look at.
Mhm.
You have to go through that scrutiny of finding things. And so now the Booster Club, I'm sure they have no clue at this point that 9 years ago they were dissolved.
Probably
Sorry, that's
not.
funny.
Probably not.
Probably not.
But, I can't sign off on it
Right.
unless you have it. So this is, as a recorder, those are the kinds of things you have to
Yeah.
go through and check all these different things. But that's what I'm training Dawn to do, is to look at those things, because she has to field those calls
Mhm.
daily.
That's so
Yeah.
good though, because now she's learning the why, and that
Mhm.
is just, that's
The whole thought
gonna
process.
make
yeah.
her feel,
Yeah.
it's gonna take her to the next level, and it's empowering.
It is.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I can see that
Oh,
already,
yeah.
that it's empowering her to take more steps.
Yeah.
And I'm now focusing on, okay, do these things, but also be accurate. Make
Mhm.
sure you cover these bases. Just don't say, I did this and then do it. Make sure you
Right.
have that in place.
Yeah.
And here's why.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
those are the things. And then have someone come in and backfill the APs and the
Right.
deposit slips and
That's easy to
checking the
backfill. You can
mail
find people
and-
for that.
Yeah.
all those things.
My
That's what this other person would do.
Right.
My sister is looking for part-time accounts payable work. She-
Wow.
I'm just throwing it out there. That's what she did in Austin for years and years. Now she's the office coordinator for an architecture firm in Eugene, but it's only 22 hours a week, and she's looking for something to supplement that. So I'm just
Okay.
throwing it out there. And she's very
Yeah.
professional.
And then let me start writing that up, and we can, because it always takes a month or two to do that. Let me start writing that up and put that in there. I think that would be helpful for Dawn.
Hmm.
Having half-time would also be helpful for her too,
Yeah.
Uh,
because that would help her transition to having another person. She is a very strong individual,
Yeah.
strong-minded individual.
Yeah.
And non-compliant, just
Strong-willed,
like Mark and I.
Yeah.
We're an excellent team.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that the team is,
Mhm.
the integrity of the
Great.
team is kept, because,
Yeah.
so we want to find the right person for the job. But the intent would be to have someone that would handle those kinds of clerk duties.
Mhm.
She's a bookkeeper is what
Right,
she's been doing.
exactly. That's what we're
Yeah.
looking for. Someone who can help answer phones, do the things there, and relieve Dawn from having to have to deal with that. Today she had people in the office, the phone was ringing. They were not easy phone calls.
Hmm.
At a couple points, I took the phone calls
Mhm.
because she was swamped.
Yeah.
In an hour and a half period, she had two people in the office, phones were ringing off the hook. I was like, what's going on? Is
Wow.
it just silence or this? But that's the kind of thing that I want, because I know it makes her very anxious.
Yeah.
And it's not,
Yeah.
and that is what they call a dissatisfier. I
Yeah.
can't remember who
Yeah.
was the person that came up with job satisfiers and dissatisfiers, one
Yeah.
of those.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, the workplace, like
Yeah,
personality
workplace,
test.
yeah. Kevin,
like,
it wasn't.
placement kind of thing.
Fredericks, Taylor? No, Taylor was the work study
I
guy.
remember them vaguely.
He was one
It's
with
been
the
a while.
stopwatch that timed everybody.
Everybody's
watch.
doing what strengths now, strength.
Strength finder.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like the
there's-
red balloon
oh,
on
yeah.
the
Oh,
test.
yeah.
There's always management.
There's all, I know, there's a
The
gazillion of them.
gimmick for
Yeah.
the,
Yeah,
I'm all
but
about the
management
Myers-Briggs.
gimmick for
I love
sure.
Myers-Briggs.
and surveys. Oh,
And
boy.
surveys.
I love working for companies that make you take them and then post your results, on your office. So you're like, so the people who are talking to can tailor it to your strength or whatever.
Absolutely.
No, they don't.
Astrology for HR people.
It works. I can
kinda
predict
like that.
most people's Myers-Briggs too.
Oh, the Myers-Briggs.
Oh, yeah.
Good at identifying it.
Right.
Anyway.
I can't
It's a
remember what it
superpower.
was. I've taken it several lots of times than others, and I'm always the same disc tests as well, and I always come out the same. So I clearly,
There's something to it. It's not based on like the time of day you were born or where you're born. It's based on how you answer specific questions.
yep.
I've been in E ENFJ for 15 years. Take it every year just to see if things have changed.
I've not changed at all. So my thought at this point is to refocus maybe on the utility one
Okay.
and maybe think about hiring someone for the long term, not necessarily for the short term. Not necessarily what Mark would like right at this moment, but what the city needs maybe in a year.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we need to think longer term, or not super long, but like we need to have a 3-year plan.
Right, very good. Yeah, a 3-year plan. And I don't wish to hire Fred again.
Oh, please no.
Yeah.
You did not.
I don't know Fred.
No,
no,
that's
but-
okay. I truly,
4 year, three and a
Fred
half.
was a very remarkable person in many ways, but he was absolutely the most toxic individual that you could ever have.
He was the one half of the situation that happened over the water
It
plant
was
4 years ago.
He loved pushing everyone's buttons.
And
Oh.
then he got strangled
Last button he pushed
He got
was not the
strangled?
right button.
Yeah.
Literally.
By a coworker.
by another public works coworker.
And the previous
gosh,
council
drama.
did not
This-
do anything about it.
Now that's,
Down 4 years ago.
That's why we're all here.
Oh,
yeah,
my
let's see,
goodness.
May, June, July, so it was the 4th month after I came on board.
Yeah.
I had to pull this 200 and something pound person off of Fred. And there was going to be blood in about 2 or 3 seconds, but I was able to get him off and get him back to his office. He got arrested.
Oh my God, I can't,
It kind of went downhill from there.
I'm sorry that.
Got really bad. And then,
Yeah.
but the new council came in. Rainbows.
Grounds for termination, yet they did not
They
terminate.
did not terminate him.
That's
They
right.
kept
The
him on.
attorney recommended terminating and they didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then the mayor and one of the city councilors resigned after that vote.
Because they didn't want to be in a position where they had to
Yep.
go against the rest of.
And then another
They
city
don't have that
councilor resigned
liability.
after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one more resigned after.
And
that.
one more resigned after that. And yeah,
Mm.
the one person who's
And-
still a thorn in our side, but that's okay. He's,
Doesn't come to meetings anymore.
no, he
Okay.
doesn't. And, but yeah, that's the kind of thing that I would have to say that of the city of Monroe, that's probably the lowest of the low.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have a repeat
We
or
don't want to
anything
go,
similar.
and
That
in the
would
back of
be-
my mind, when I do these things, in the back of my mind,
Yeah.
that is so vivid
I
as to
can
what occurred
imagine. That's.
and so traumatic.
Thing.
Oh, yeah.
You
I
know,
was there when all that went down. You were too. And I was just thinking to myself, my kids could do this better than these guys. I mean, come on.
Well, the fact that you had to pull
I
one
had
of
to
them off the other,
literally
like
pull
that's
this
so
guy
scary.
and I utilized a technique that I learned in reserve training many
Right.
years ago. When I was in reserves, I was security. I was port security, boarding officer, basically. I was like a police officer, but on a boat.
Yeah.
So I had to go through police training. So King County and Pierce County trained me and several others. And that was one of the, use a command voice and use other things to get people
Mhm.
to refocus. Because when you're in that
Yeah.
that
You had to snap
emotional
'em out of
mode,
it.
they do not see anything.
Yeah.
They
yeah,
do
I
not.
can-
You have to get them just for a moment
Mhm.
to
Mm.
break that lock.
Adrenaline.
Yep.
It was successful and no one died. So,
Yeah, thank
but
goodness.
anyway, that was
God.
the lowest. I do not wish that. We do not have staff, but I also don't want to introduce a staff person
Yeah.
that creates that thing. And I think hiring someone who's younger, perhaps, I'd love to have someone out of high school.
Yeah.
Because that individual works really well. with
Shape
marketing.
them, mold them.
And bring them on. And you know what? The thing is that if I, like I had in Austin, just as an example, he would have done great stuff. He would have worked hard. He would have learned. He would have done everything we needed him to do. And if we had another Austin coming in behind, you could
Yeah.
have a great thing. And one of them's going to stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'd have a bench to pull
Gonna
from.
stick.
That's
Oh,
yeah.
that's what we don't have, is we
Right,
don't have
exactly.
that bench to
Yeah.
pull from
we
when we
don't.
need, and that's what you're trying to do here, is create that, so.
I can't do it if I'm gone. And I
Yeah.
really feel like I really want to,
Yeah.
because that's really how I feel the only way I really can
Mhm.
eventually retire from here is to make
Okay.
sure that we have that continuity,
Mhm.
particularly in public works, but also up front too,
Mhm.
to make sure that Dawn can feel as though she's not reliant upon me,
Yeah.
because she knows what I do and how I'm pulled. And it makes her feel like I really can't talk to Steve about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And I don't want that.
Yeah.
I want her to be able to come to me when there are important things to come
Mhm.
and talk about. You know, like, Steve, I got this question today. How should I have handled it, or how would I handle it? Those are the questions, so I can teach her how to do those things,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then let her go take care of it.
Yeah,
That's what I want to do, rather than feel like I'm reacting to it.
Right.
Absolutely.
So two things. One, rethink quickly the utility one
Mhm.
person and bring someone on board that we can mold over a period of time. Two, think about a front office person. Three, a 3-year plan.
so the front office is gonna just be a temporary 20 hours per
I would say, I would say part-time,
part-time?
20 hours.
And it's more like accounts payable and bookkeeping and
Right.
some general office. type-
General office, and our people that we might pull, and it could be 20 to 30 hours. I would say that, and again, I think give them an opportunity to do some things too. I mean, make sure that they know that this isn't just a junk job or just,
Well, yeah.
but it might pull from different people might come in too. People that are frustrated somewhere else and want to live in another part. It
Mhm.
might pull some people that are working just part-time, or maybe they're retired.
Mm, mhm.
Absolutely, it would be a great
And
opportunity.
would like to come in
Mhm.
and feel
Yep.
like they're still
Part of the community,
contributing and part of the
yeah.
community and doing things.
Yeah.
So when you advertise for those jobs, you're getting, or you might have a student. You know, Dawn worked at the city as a student. That was her first job after she graduated, was here
Yeah.
in Monroe, sitting in that office.
Nice.
So that's the kind of thing we want. Is
Yeah.
to pull those people in, because we really do need to grow our town. And then when we get ready for a city administrator, then you will have a firm foundation, one, and two, everything will be in place where you can go off to GMP. That's the one that does that's the Prothman, but GMP is one of the big recruiters that does city for small cities all over the Northwest. They do the city recruiting for city managers, city administrators, finance people, county administrators. So
Awesome.
you go to them, and then they build the brochures and the advertising and market. They work with you to
Yeah.
market the position and
They're a
get the
headhunter,
best
right?
person to come here
Like
for
recruiter, I
you to
think.
take over, because your next level will be a city that's growing.
Yeah. With all this development, 100 new homes in the next 5 years, like,
And you're going to want someone that has a good finance background, because
Yeah.
they're going to be probably involved with wheeling and dealing with bonds and infrastructure and everything else.
negotiating contracts.
Right, and you're not going to find a public works person.
Yeah.
So we want to get out of the public works business with your city administrator and onto the things that
Yeah,
they're
it's
going
really
to be.
separate them.
Yeah, really separate them. So that has to be the goal. Because otherwise,
Yeah.
you're going to tie your city administrator down to
Yeah.
doing things that really,
Oh, you're not gonna find someone that's gonna be able to.
you won't. You won't.
You
I-
are a rare gem.
Absolutely. You are a unicorn. So with the finance, or sorry, not the finance, the public works side, the hope is that we're gonna find a utility one worker to take that over. And then when we get to a time where we're ready to begin recruiting through Prothman GMP for a city administrator or city manager, we're going to focus on finance specifically for the city planning side of things?
I would say that the city administrator, typically, if you look at all their job descriptions, it is very heavy in finance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
Good to
always
know.
very heavy in finance.
Okay.
Oh, it makes
Um,
sense. Yeah.
And it makes sense.
And so
Um,
a city planner role would be a whole other,
And typically what happens is that you will find the path into your typical path into a city manager. And I'll just say city manager at this point is either through a planner
Mhm.
or through the legal side,
Mhm.
and often through the finance side. People
Oh.
that are finance directors, finance officers, senior planners. Those are some of the folks that are looking to the next job level. And that's where you will find
Mhm.
some of those folks. That's nice because you can often grow those individuals into
Okay.
your city. They're ready for the next step
Yep.
because they've already had, a planner has a lot of legal background.
Yeah.
So, you can't help it because of the legalities of the planning. So you need to have kind of a legal mind when you write those things. And they're then very adept at writing your resolutions and whereases and reading contracts.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so that's why you're gonna say that planners, finance, it's a natural.
Yeah.
If you have a background in some planning, project management is also another step. Folks that do project management also
Mhm.
go into city administrator, city manager.
Yeah.
The other thing that you'll want to consider at the time that you are beginning to do that is change your charter to city manager form of government. We've
Right.
talked about that.
We have, yes.
It's not so important with me. But it is going to be important to recruit the next person.
Yeah.
You're one of the only towns in Oregon that's incorporated. It is not a city manager form of government.
I wonder why did we land on city administrator years ago? What is the reason?
Well, back in 2001, the city got itself into some trouble and it couldn't, because of we've always been a volunteer council. And
Okay.
so people weren't on top of all the
Mhm.
things and the regulations started to change in the 2000s.
Okay.
The governments wanted some things like, accountability,
Transparency.
transparency, accountability. And you
Yeah.
can't do that when you have a job and you're trying to come in and manage
Yeah.
the
Right.
finances. I mean, I came in and helped Frank Fair one summer.
Yeah. Got it.
Because he was trying to, he had to know the Assist, that was the accounting software at the time. And I worked with him and we went through and completely brought the program and all the accounts back up to date.
Wow.
And that's hard
Yeah.
to do that. So they brought in a city administrator. Some of the council didn't like that. They wanted to run the city themselves.
Oh, I remember.
Okay, so
Hearing
that would
about
be,
that.
that would be Floyd.
Yeah, I was just thinking about my former neighbor.
Okay, your former neighbor did not want a city administrator.
Yeah.
Never wanted a city administrator. The second person they had in after a few years was Jim Menard. Jim was a planner. I worked with, he was the interim city administrator, city manager for Philomath at one point,
Oh.
Adair Village.
Oh.
He was kind of the person that when you needed a city administrator, he was the guy who filled in. And he
Yeah.
did here until he passed away from cancer.
Oh,
Okay, so that was pancreatic cancer. So that was
that's a-
his
that's.
here. And then the city hired Mr. Honbaum,
Mhm.
who came from, well, he was
Okay.
actually Sheridan, then down to Gold Beach.
That's
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
He was accused falsely
Mhm.
down there of something with one of the counselors,
Right.
but it wasn't accurate at all. But
Right.
you
And he
know,
wasn't
what-
charged for it. So,
Yeah, but what happens is that it was
Yeah.
completely bogus and
Yeah.
he won the lawsuit.
Yeah.
But what do you do? So he came to Monroe. So that's kind of the other thing is,
Yeah.
sometimes what happens is you get recycled individuals or
Mhm.
people that are trying to
Smear.
get themselves rehabilitated
Yeah. Yeah.
for a period of time. The
Right.
executive director of the Council of Governments was the previous one, not Ryan, but the one previous to him
Mhm.
was there because he got fairly accused in Washington DC. He was in the organization head of all the Council of Governments. but he had to come out to Oregon, out to the swamps to rehabilitate himself.
Rehab his reputation.
Yes, right.
Jeez.
I need to go pick up my son, so I have to go.
Those are the things, so those are the
Thank you,
things,
Mayor.
so those are the things that when you go out for recruitment, that you want to be very careful of, that you
Okay.
want hiring a recycled individual. You know, that's why I think it's probably important to have something like looking at a plan or someone who's looking for their next step, you know,
So-
and grow them here.
So with a 3-year plan, I mean, part of that is really going to be understanding, and I haven't looked at your job description, but understanding all of the components that you do currently so that we can isolate those roles and really figure out what that looks like.
And I think that's really
Next
important.
year, the
for me
next
to
3 year,
do.
next 5
Yes.
years.
I really think that's an important next step for me to
So,
provide.
And the
for you.
last version of your PD does have 3 different sections. There's a
Mhm.
city planning component, there's utility, like water operations, and then there's the city management piece. So it is actually,
That's
it
a
is
lot.
teased into 3 different areas, and we'll just have to pull it out separately and create 2 new PDs. in my
I think
opinion.
what you really want is to create a PD that says what you want as a city administrator.
Yeah.
And then the other things, we're going to have to figure out how to make that work, like with you, to make sure that Public Works is standalone. Your next city administrator will know something about Public Works, but they will not be Public Works, just like Rick Honbaum, my predecessor. That was the thing that scared him half to death. And that's what he told me. He says, I can do everything but Public Works.
Yeah.
And so that was, you know, he just didn't know it. And as a result, you have to know something about it, but it really helps to have somebody on board.
Yeah.
That has experience and knows what's going on to take care of it.
Okay,
Because
so
the city
that's-
administrator or city manager is not going to be someone who is going to be. If you're like a Mark Shepard, the bigger up you have, you're gonna have a director of Public Works
Mhm.
who then has multiple superintendents reporting to them
Yeah.
and foremen, you know, or lead people reporting to them. So you have this wealth of experience. So when you're at the city manager level, say in Corvallis, you're dealing with policy
Mhm.
Right.
as to what the infrastructure and primarily cost.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with the cost of the infrastructure and why is it, you
Mhm.
know, this?
Yeah.
And what are you going to do for your CIP and, you know, your capital improvement plan and those types of things.
Yeah.
And that's what you want to be able, your city administrator to focus on is CIP and be able to manage the projects in a way that maximize return to the city
Mhm.
and also keep the cost as low as possible. And you can't do that if you don't have some sense of it, but that's
Mhm.
why finance is and it isn't just knowing the budget. I mean, I'm talking about finance in terms of financial accounting, financial analysis, that kind of thing. So some college level, you know, classes in business administration is rather important. Particularly in a small town, which every little dime is important.
Absolutely.
So I think that's what you're looking at. And certainly we can start providing that and start getting that picture because I think it's important to, as I've said, the many hats I wear have actually grown a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to separate those hats.
It's
Yeah,
one
I
big
agree.
hat right now made of 3
Right.
hats.
And that's not
mashed
doing
together.
you, me, or anybody any good.
Yeah.
You're
It's a
right.
liability to the
It makes
city.
us vulnerable, right? I
Definitely
mean, if
does.
something, God forbid, happened to you, we would be in a very dire position and
And from my end of it, things start dropping off the radar and they can't draw. Some things
Yeah.
can't. And I
Yeah.
don't want that to happen either.
we're just getting.
And
to
my
be-
staff don't know enough yet to know what is dropping and what isn't.
Mhm.
So again, that's a liability to the city. So we want to be able to minimize that as best we can.
Understood.
I want to look at my agenda items,
Yes.
let's make sure that, I'm pretty sure we did cover every. uh, uh, So you said we should go through Profman, not ICMA, correct? For your
Yeah, I would go
replacement?
through the Northwest. I mean, they're the ones that really, there's several recruiters, but they seem to be the ones that really do have a sense. You can also talk to local League of Oregon Cities as well.
Okay,
The LOC. And most of the time, anytime they recruit to there, they also post it on the League of Oregon Cities. But you can start looking at that. You can also start looking at the other job descriptions that people have
yeah,
for city managers and finance directors and all that. That's, you know, start getting a sense of what other cities are doing. particularly small cities our size,
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
small cities are a lot different than
Yeah.
big cities.
Yeah.
Curious, Counselor Williams, if you'd be interested in,
Yeah.
attending these more
help.
often?
I can help.
or
This is
or I mean,
not,
even if you want to be on the committee, if you, we
Yeah.
don't meet super often, but I think that we're going to need to start meeting more often and you have good questions. I know you have an organizational design, project management,
I don't have an HR background.
No, but
I've
you do
hired
project
lots
management,
of
right?
people.
project management.
Yes,
or
and I
QA.
specialize in regulatory, so policy is my jam, man.
That's fantastic.
That's what we do here is,
It would-
this is policy. So one of the other things we have on our agenda is finishing our personnel manual that we started a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Because it needs to be updated regardless. I mean, the
Again.
laws have changed
Yeah.
so
since we
many
started. Yeah.
times, and fortunately, CIS, our insurance carrier, does provide the approved template. So
Okay.
that makes it a lot easier because of
Mm.
course they're the ones that insure us. So
Mhm.
We did, I mean, we got pretty darn close to having a final draft, didn't we?
we did, and then the laws changed again,
Yeah.
particularly along FEMLA, OFMA, Oregon paid leave, all those things. And the Oregon paid leave was convoluted because they just came out with kind of the
Mm.
final, just a few months ago, at the beginning of summer,
Oh,
they finally figured out the rules.
they had
Because
case law.
people were utilizing, they didn't know which was FEMLA, which was OFMA, and which was Oregon paid leave, and how, because they all overlap each other.
Yeah. You
And
have
of
to
course,
track
it
all
also
three
depends on your
concurrently.
size of your organization as to what rule applies when,
Right, 25 or more employees.
right? Or
versus-
5 or
Yeah,
more more than 5 employees. So there's different rules, and so we need to make sure that our the current template the CIS has does take all that into account.
okay.
So I actually took the brackets and that says your organization and replaced it with Monroe. That's good first step.
Nice.
But I think that's probably, and there's a few things in there that we can change clearly, or what's our policy. Our staff, we thought about doing sick leave and instead of paid leave, PTO, going to the more of the vacation sick leave model,
Yeah,
which makes more sense for staff because sick leave in this case would be not reimbursed, there's no
Cash it out.
cash value to sick
Yeah.
leave. But we give it so people don't feel as though, because right now people feel as though I'm gonna keep my PTO and save it because that's cash value.
use it as vacation.
And I'm gonna go
too.
sit in the water plant and sneeze and cough,
Yeah,
and
Yep.
no, I want you home getting better.
Yep.
Not, and feel like you can get paid for it and not feel like you have to come to work.
right. Yep.
I don't want to get sick.
No,
Yeah, and
no,
we-
if you get sick,
That's
We're
bad news.
screwed, and
That's
then
what I
if-
tell staff.
I remember 2 winters ago, somebody in the office, it was before Dawn, got sick and like stuff just kind of slowed down for like a week or 2. Like nothing could be done. Like
Nothing can be
there-
done,
it's-
right?
we can't afford to
And I have to
have a
be,
whole-
and I have to be very careful because at the moment, that's another, talk about continuity planning.
Yeah,
That's the other aspect of it. If
Yeah.
I get sick, as long as I can get to the FaceTime or see things, that would be great. But what if I can't?
yeah.
Mhm.
So we want to make sure we mitigate that because that is that's what this whole thing's about, is to get to that point where Steve can finally wear his Lego hat and you folks know that you have everything under
Yeah.
control.
Go rock hounding,
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
find some Oregon sunstones.
Ooh, I know where those are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Waihe, or not quite that
It's
far.
actually down by a little town of, it's between Plush
Hmm.
and Adel Lake. So you turn off at Adel Lake, no, excuse me, Lake Abert.
Okay.
So Lake Abert, you turn, if you're going down towards Junction, down towards Lakeview through, so the first thing you do is you go to Fort Rock,
Mhm.
then you head down to Silver Lake and you turn up the
Don't tell us
trail.
your spots.
know.
Don't
No,
tell
no,
us your spots.
this is the Cowboy Diner.
Okay.
So you got to go to the Cowboy Diner and
Okay.
have the steak or the chicken, whole chicken,
Oh,
Oh,
whole steak.
wow.
Yeah, big giant steak with the trappings.
yes to both.
And then you stay a night to make sure the indigestion goes away. Then you head down to Lake Abert, then you head up across the thing, just fantastic. And you head down the thing towards the Warner Valley And then you'll come to the Sunstone area. So off to the left is 25 acres of BLM Sunstone area. And there are sunstones there for you to dig up. Everyone just picks the little stuff off the ground, but you can.
Wow.
Or you can go to one of the fee sites, the other sites, the real mining sites, and you can pay $40 and they'll let you go through their tailings. Then you can get the big stuff.
That's awesome. I really want to do that.
Yeah,
That's so
easy,
cool.
easy time.
Mhm.
So
That's so cool.
anyway, those are things I'd love to be able to take off and do.
Yeah, and you should.
that
We
for
want-
you.
Yeah, I
We
do too.
We do.
So that's what we have. So what you need from me is to get some of the idea of all the different jobs and things that I do
Yeah.
and start writing that up.
Yeah.
We want to get a person,
Utility one.
we want to get that utility one, but the idea is long-term.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing is we're gonna mold someone for the long term and then start writing up what an office person would look like. So we could come to you for approval.
And that would, just to clarify, that is not temp, it is part-time, but regular and ongoing.
It would
is
be
also a-
regular part-time.
Got it. Okay. And then if Counselor Williams wants to be on this committee, do we need to make that official at a council meeting or, because I know I was on committees before and then I resigned from them and I don't think there was like an official notice, like can Counselor
I
Williams attend
I
these?
think that the mayor is supposed to be the one to appoint people to
Oh, okay.
committees,
Yes.
but she
Got it.
can request from the
Okay.
mayor and he can appoint her at the next council meeting or something.
Right.
Interesting. No pressure.
I mean, this is a big deal.
It's huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without city staff, we don't have a
This is,
city.
we're talking now, we're laying the path stones for the future of Monroe.
Absolutely.
I think we've come out of transition
Yeah.
from what was. Now you guys want to go into what is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What is it going to be?
Yeah.
And that's the important thing.
Thank you for everything you've done.
You're more than welcome. I wouldn't be here if I didn't feel it was worthwhile. I really wouldn't.
We love you, Steve.
And yeah, you could just talk to the mayor. Councilor Rich is
I'll
right.
just
that
talk-
The
yeah.
mayor's the one who does appoint, but he doesn't have to be, it does not have to be the council meeting.
Okay.
He is free to appoint anyone he wishes. Once the committee, the council has to form the committee.
Okay.
The council has to do. But once it's
Okay.
formed, the mayor by charter, that would be section 4, 2.1.
Look at that, site and
I
code.
I had to, our wonderful Corvallis Library Director was trying to hound me on public.
Uh,
Grr.
Yeah.
So yes, I just wrote that to her. She wanted to know what documentation we had on forming committees.
What? Why would she? I'm not gonna get
No,
riled
I'm
up.
sorry.
Stay in your lane.
didn't mean to rile anyone up. I didn't wish to rile anyone up. I just simply said all of I gave her the very basics. I said, Mayor Sheets appointed 2 individuals like Councilor Cuthbertson and Councilor Linder to the committee and invited SBCE in Benton County to send anyone they wished.
Yeah.
And said as soon as everyone has chimed in, he will set the first meeting date. After that, the committees elect their own chair and set the agenda and their next meeting dates on their own.
Roger Irvin, great.
Mhm.
If he's on it, he should be. Is there any chance RA is gonna get appointed?
The mayor.
I mean, is that something Roger can request or?
If it would be up to Roger, it's very interesting to me that
I'm hoping it'd be Sandy.
it's interesting to me that the Corvallis director has such, I mean, I have to ask the question, who's she representing? I'm very concerned that
Yeah,
the city of
it's-
Corvallis seems to be representing
Yep.
South Benton because the communications I'm getting are including other, like Roger. Why is she speaking on Roger's behalf?
They have a very close friendship, I have heard.
Well, then I think there's a conflict.
I agree.
And I'm been thinking about that and I
shouldn't say friendship. They work closely together.
yeah,
And partner.
but the thing is that if it's just like me, I can't, my position is not a position that I can go out and
Benefit any one of us.
benefit
Or-
anybody.
Yeah,
My job is very specific to the city of Monroe.
Mhm.
right.
It is to the council, not to
Mhm.
any one person.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
her interactions with me and of this are to me alarming. I'll
And
just
I
say
think
that.
I agree, and I haven't even seen it all, but from what I know, yeah, and I think that she's also being encouraged by Mark Shepard, which is toxic right there. Mark Shepard is, sorry.
So-
Should I adjourn this thing?
No, that's fine. No, it's a public meeting and
Okay.
and I don't think any of
Meeting
this
adjourned.
it is very clear to me that, based on my conversation with Mark Shepard, that there's more going on here than what any of us are privy to. Unfortunately, I may have also, by doing this, I mean, they have a system-wide budget for a reason.
Yes, they do, and they don't wanna, yes.
And
I
we're
understand.
we're poking and prodding at it and poking the bear and
And the whole argument that like, well, we can't do that because then we have to do it for the other towns. So do it for the
Yeah,
other towns.
exactly, then you best work on
And do
that.
it.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe they would like some transparency too.
absolutely, and that's their whole shtick, is they want transparency from us, but yet they won't give us they won't give us the same courtesy of being transparent, and that's just.
Yeah.
I have never experienced anything like that before in my life, and I apologize that I just in good faith could not be objective.
it's.
Well, I'm trying to be objective, but I'm going into this committee pretty riled up. I love libraries. I've worked at them. I volunteer them. I donated to this one a couple of years ago. I really don't like Mark Shepard. I think he's smarmy, and I think he always has a little agenda. He was not very honest with the city, with Benton County commissioners
Yeah,
in their meeting.
that was telling, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Wasn't very forthcoming in the meeting with his own counsel.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Gabe Shepard.
Gabe,
Yeah, he's awesome.
challenged him very, very carefully and politely and professionally challenged him.
Gabe is
I thought
awesome.
that was very interesting,
Yeah.
but no, I've heard a lot to being a citizen up there. I may have to take off, as I said, may have to take off my administrator hat and walk into their council meeting and be heard. Because I don't like what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And
They
I just
hold
don't
all
want it
the
to affect Monroe. But if SBCE wants to take the building and they want to have their fun with it, then everyone wins. We
It
have a
is.
library. It's still gonna sit there. It's gonna look
Yeah.
beautiful. Someone else will pay for it.
Yeah,
Everyone gets to go to it. It doesn't change.
yeah,
And the city doesn't have to be the fall person for it.
yeah.
When we have other uses for our money, our very scarce resources, and citizens who really don't want to pay more taxes.
And they can clean the terribly expensive.
And keep it up to date and paint it and
Yeah.
make it look nice.
Yeah.
Be the economic jewel of our little community.
Yeah. All right.
All right, I
Thank you
have
for
some homework
everything.
to do and I will
Yes.
I'll redo the utility worker one.
Okay.
I think we do need to think about a 3-year plan. I think that's
Yeah.
a great thing, and getting this information together is really good.
Yeah, this is wonderful.
I
Good
mean,
meeting.
It's really is about, the transition is about those steps.
Yeah.
It really is about project management, the same things.
I get to
We're
call.
defining our scope of what we need to do.
This is what I did. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's my language.
Yay. I did planning public policy and management at U of O, and we did strategic plans, SOPs, staffing plans, organizational design. I'm just excited to finally get to use it, and I hope I remember a little bit of it. I'm sure it'll come to me.
And my class right now is business continuity,
Oh, perfect.
so.
Excellent.
That's a good, yeah.
Well, I love it because I just tie in what I do here, and so it's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank you, Counselor Rich.
Thank you.
Thank
Hope you
you
feel
guys.
better.
have a
Oh,
good
great
evening.
night.
Hey, Counselor, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I still have your guys' spare key. Do you want me to hold on to it until you get back or put it somewhere? And
Oh,
if you
I
want me to
mean,
put it somewhere, you can just text me.
oh, we're still here. Or we're back.
Oh, you're back?
Yeah, we're back. I'm just
Oh.
saying.
I've
That's why I
had your
couldn't be
key
in
for like a
person.
week. I'll bring it over.
Oh, yeah, yeah. you can
Okay,
bring it by.
thank you.
No
Bye.
problem.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.